Welcome, everyone, to Your Comments Matters, where we're bringing to you today church news. This is season 26, episode 25. And today's church news is coming from the YouTube channel Holy Post Media. And the title of the video of church news today is called Pete Hegseth, Pastor is calling for Christian theocracy. Well, everyone, you know we live in a democracy. And this pastor in today's church news, he wants a Christian theocracy. So when this aired, this video got over 15,000 views. And with that being said, we're going to take a look at the video. And right after the video, we're going to get your comments and why they matter. Let's take a look at the video, shall we?
The Christian nationalist pastor with ties to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Doug Wilson leads this network of churches, which are now stretching internationally, and they recently planted a new church in Washington, D.C. that some influential people are part of, including Pete Hegseth. Part of the controversy was Pete Hegseth retweeted or reposted a tweet from Doug Wilson basically saying that women should not have the right to vote.
Yeah, he said, all of Christ for all of life, and shared the segment.
Mm-hmm.
So he is absolutely, it seems, 100% on board with Doug Wilson's Christian nationalism.
Right. I want to begin by talking about his particular form of Christian nationalism, why it's, in my estimation, I think many others, profoundly un-American.
Yeah.
And then why it's problematic as Christianity.
Right.
So on the un-American side, Doug Wilson doesn't think women should be allowed to vote. He strictly speaking does not believe in democracy. And he says this in the CNN interview. Democracy, the word democracy means rule of the people. He believes in theocracy. He believes that America, and in fact, every country, should be ruled by a theocratic system that puts Christianity at the top. Okay, so he doesn't believe in democracy. He doesn't believe in one person, one vote. He doesn't believe in equal rights for women. He does not believe in the abolition of slavery.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I don't know his broader views on that, but
he's written extensively about it.
Yeah, right. There's a book called Black and Tan, I believe, where he shares some really disturbing views. And yeah, in the segment, it's like, he's kind of like, yeah, I'm glad slavery's gone. You know,
he said he's glad that chattel-based slavery as practiced in the United States is gone, because chattel-based slavery is not biblical. But he would argue slavery in and of itself is biblical.
Right. And it's just that it was executed by fallen human beings, and they didn't do it right. So it's like, are you kidding? And then, of course, he plays up the supposedly warm connection that masters and slaves had with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So crazy stuff.
So, I mean, going down the list now of how these things are un-American. He doesn't believe in democracy. He does not believe in one person, one vote. He does not believe in equal rights for women. He does not believe in the abolition of slavery. He does not believe in the Constitution, because he doesn't believe in the First Amendment and the separation of church and state. He does not believe in pluralism, that people of diverse faiths and beliefs should have equal rights under the law. So on all those fronts, and probably 10 more, this is a profoundly un-American view to have. Now, I find it let's take faith out of it for a moment. I find it deeply problematic that the Secretary of Defense is retweeting and endorsing the beliefs of somebody who does not believe in the most essential qualifications of American leadership. Like, you might give biblical arguments for not believing in the Constitution, but I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be in charge of the military of the United States or in the executive branch of government or an elected official of the country if you don't believe in the Constitution that gives you the authority to do your office. Like, that's weird. That is very, very weird.
A little unsettling.
Very. Then on the Christian side of things, when he says that he wishes this town were Christian and that this state was Christian and the country was Christian, the whole world was Christian, like, on one level I can go, okay, yeah, but how? Right? How does this town become Christian? And I think his movement argues it's going to become Christian when Christians take over the levers and offices of power and impose Christian values and impose Christian laws and impose Christian structures. I would say the way a town becomes Christian is by the people of Christ loving their neighbors so sacrificially and so fully that the way of Christ becomes so appealing that others want to join the way, right? They're attracted into it. It's not from the top down, it's from the bottom up. But when he's going with this top down posture, I think part of the appeal of that, it's a very fundamentalist appeal, is as American society becomes increasingly complicated and difficult to navigate and pluralistic, there's a lot of people out there who are going, can I just please stop thinking so much? Can someone else make all these hard decisions for me? A lot more people to run to the safe harbor of these fundamentalist movements that are saying to them, not only will I tell you exactly what a man is and a woman is, I'm going to tell you exactly what roles they're supposed to have in society. I'm going to tell you exactly what offices they can and have. I'll tell you exactly how men and women should function in every household and business and government office. We will take all the ambiguity out of this complicated society, and you can exhale again and relax. That's very appealing to people.
You're right. I mean, we got this polarization. We're in this cultural moment where people have given up on debate and reasoned discourse and civility and humanizing the other side. And so kind of extreme views like this get a larger hearing, because it's like, it's not that we're just going to, make iterative changes and slowly influence people to maybe have the country reflect our values a little more, or like you said, be so winsome that people, come to Christ or give Christianity a second look. No, this is sort of like, hey, we're going to take over. Eventually, we're going to hoist a Christian flag over the White House. And so it is appealing for that reason. And I'll say this, Doug Wilson is practicing what he preaches. He's out there creating his own little kingdom. He's got churches that he's planting, businesses in town, a publishing house, sprawling campus. And so people see that and go, this guy's doing something. He's actually...
Well, what's interesting about what he's doing is he's an institution builder.
Yep.
And so, he's not a spring chicken. And when he's no longer around, this movement will continue because he has effectively built the institutions to perpetuate it. There have been other movements that are so almost cult-like in their focus on the charismatic leader that when the leader disappears, the thing kind of just dissipates. I think that might well happen with MAGA once Donald Trump is out of the picture. He's not an institution builder. He's just an institution destroyer. So I'm not sure MAGA has built the enduring institutions to keep going as a political and cultural movement, but Christian nationalism has. And Doug Wilson represents that. He's not a dummy. He knows what he's doing.
He's very media savvy too.
Yes.
He's got a knack for obviously saying controversial things that get people talking. He's got a flair for the dramatic. I remember a few years ago, he had this video where he was given this talk on a couch that's in the middle of a field, and the couch is on fire, and the flames are creeping closer and closer to him, and he's sitting there smoking a cigar. So he's got this whole macho thing, and he's very, even though he's got to be like 70, he understands the media landscape, and he's working it.
He is working it. And my hunch is he's probably surrounded by a lot of very savvy young men who know how to work social media.
Get the tech.
Exactly. It's a movement that's going to draw a lot of them. It will be interesting what ends up happening. I mean, I don't want to predict scandals, but like these kinds of highly patriarchal movements often manifest horrible abuses.
And there have already been some scandals. Yeah. But in some ways, they're, if you take the Trump tactic where you just shrug off scandals, sometimes they don't really affect you, or at least your core movement.
Well, and the argument, the way they immunize themselves to these scandals is they might say, yeah, these terrible things may well have happened. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And what we're trying to do here is save the culture from its inevitable decline, slouching towards Gomorrah, as Bork said many years ago. And if
that's Yeats originally, but
if we don't succeed, then the secularists and the LGBTQ, the progressives, all those are going to be the ones that take over all of America, and then everyone's in huge trouble. So we're going to turn a blind eye to some of these abuses because the overall mission is so much more important that we can't get sidelined. The barbarians
at the gate are so dangerous.
Exactly. And that's how they end up squashing the dissent over abuses that may happen in their midst. So it's unfortunate. I obviously am no fan of this, both as an American and as a Christian. I find it abhorrent. And It is scary to me that there are officials in the Trump administration, incredibly important positions of power, that do not believe in the Constitution, that do not believe in pluralism, that do not believe in democracy. I don't know why. And the irony that this is coming from the end of the political spectrum that wraps itself in the flag and says the Constitution was inspired by Jesus. Like, why they can't see these contradictions, I don't get. Like, how can you say God gave us the Constitution and then put someone in charge of the whole military who doesn't believe in the Constitution? That's insane to me. But who says contradictions?
My hunch is, though, if you sat down with Pete Hegseth, he probably doesn't even understand or couldn't articulate the tenets of Doug Wilson's theology.
Well, that's a problem too. Like,
I think he likes his vibe. He's like, oh, he's a macho dude who is into Jesus, and yeah, I mean, that's my read of it. But it's still scary that he would cozy up to this kind of guy with these kind of ideas, 100%.
And okay, last rant. I think all of the problems we're seeing in government right now, at least in Washington, land at the feet of Congress. Because there is no Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth if the Senate doesn't approve him.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, and I know for a fact that there are senators, including Republican senators, who see this problem, who recognize that he is unfit and unqualified to serve as Defense Secretary, but they won't do anything about it because they're more focused on saving their own hide in the next election than they are in doing what's right for the country or what's even constitutional. So blame President Trump all you want, blame Pete Hegseth, blame Doug Wilson. At the end of the day, it's Congress's responsibility to prevent these kinds of people from having power, people who don't believe in the Constitution. And they didn't fulfill their duty. So I 100% blame Congress for this and many, 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 many other things. And then we get into a deeper levels. Okay, well, why do we end up with the senators and congressional leaders that we have? That's another systemic issue that should be addressed. But
all right, everyone, that's going to do it for that video for us today, where you heard it right there. Doug Wilson, who is the Department of War Pete Hegseth pastor out of D.C., said women should not vote. He believes in theocracy, not democracy. So in other words, everything got to be Christianized and they got to have their hierarchies in charge. He believes in slavery. He said it's biblical and it should not be abolished, but he doesn't believe in the chattel slavery. You know, back in early Americans with slavery, how they had the iron necks, fixtures around the slaves' necks, arms and feet, and whip them. So he said he doesn't believe in that, but he does believe in master and slave. Can't make this up. It's just on Church News. All right, then let's get into some of the comments and see what others have to say about this. Take a look at our very first commenter coming from Delayed Gratz says, Christian nationalism is neither Christian nor American. As a religious belief, it's an old hearsay that predates nation states, where local rulers use religions, Christianity in this case, as the basis and propaganda to impose a form of government on people. I say propaganda because the government structure is usually run of mill monarchy, dictatorship, oligarchy, feudalism, etc. Pete Hegseth's pastor is just a part of a movement that wants to burn down the United States and create an Iran-style government. Oh, Delay Gates, your comment matter. Why? Because you got 65 thumbs up on that comment. Take a look at our second commenter coming from My Walk says, yet they'll bomb another and send ours for the same thing. Beyond hypocrisy. My Walk, you got 2 thumbs up on that comment. Take a look at another commenter coming from Truth Teller. This ought to be interesting. This, I hope people come to see and understand this. You got 2 thumbs up on that comment. Exactly. Everyone, your comments matter. Why? Because this movement is active and it's accelerating. And they got a timeline, they got a goal set, and we cannot let that happen, or we will all be under their slavery. And we don't want Christian nationalism over us. Take a look at another commenter. This one is coming from Mary Zazinski. Says, yes, 2 words that don't mix is Christianity and nationalism. True Christians follow Jesus' model of life and are neutral to world's politics. Jesus said many times he and his followers were no part of the world. Plus, his answer to Pilate that his kingdom or government was no part of this world. Nationalism is the promotion of the nation you are part of, and in actuality, worship. Very good comment, Mary Zazinski. You didn't get any thumbs up on that or replies at the time that I saw it, but what a great comment. That is awesome. Totally agree with you there. Let's take a look at one more comment from Ernie Shields. Says, when politics becomes a people's religion, you know it's full of shit. Uh-oh. You didn't get no thumbs up on that, but I tell you one thing, your comments sure do matter. All right, then. That's going to do it for the show here on today, where we learn of Pete Hesse's pastor, again, talking about women should not vote, and they want theocracy, not democracy. Y'all better wake up. This is In Church News. All right, that's going to do it for us, but I want to remind everyone, go over to the Bible Talk Show YouTube channel and check out our series talking about the what ifs in life. Check out this scripture from Jeremiah 38:17. Says, then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, thus says the Lord, God of hosts, the God of Israel, if you surely surrender to the king of Babylon's princes, then your soul shall live. This city shall not be burned with fire, and you and your house shall live. There's a big what if right there when it comes to Jeremiah and the children of Israel. Go to the YouTube channel, check out the full Bible study. You don't want to miss it. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for us here today, right here at Church News on Your Comments Matters. I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing.